Musclebox Radio, episode number 27. I think on a previous episode I got the episode number wrong, so I apologise. But it's episode 27 now. So today I am joined with all of the other Teambox coaches again for another roundtable special. So we have got the cheery, smiley Daniel Meek.
Hello.
Daniel, what have you just been doing?
I've just been playing cricket.
So
like a cool guy.
You've been doing what? Playing it?
Playing cricket, yeah.
Not eating sandwiches?
No, that's only for when we play in season during games that we need to refuel with carbohydrates.
And cherry
in training, it's okay.
Cherry baked quails as well?
And a pasty, yeah.
Nice. You don't have the macros for a pasty. Chris?
Hello.
How's it going, mate?
Yeah, very good, mate. Very good, mate.
Sharp headphones?
Thanks, mate. I've just stopped eating food after instructions, so
yeah.
Told
him off. Mike, how you doing?
I'm good, thank you. How are you?
Nice, your hair's looking very dapper today, Mike. Have you had it straightened?
I haven't, but I've been to Dan's hairdressers and he's worked wonders.
Dan, I hear is having a career change to be a hairdresser.
Yeah. Well, I thought with my own hair looking so good all the time that I should share that knowledge. Yeah. Much like someone who is absolutely ripped gives out nutrition advice. I thought, well, I've got such a good hairstyle, I can be a hairdresser.
Yeah. Like someone, for example, who's never been a PT before, and then they write a book on how to be a PT.
Exactly. I literally could start a hairdresser's now because I've cut my own hair. So
exactly. Emil, how are you doing?
Yeah, I'm good. Can't complain. 8 weeks into prep, loving life.
Looking shredded.
Yeah, it's happening. Starting to feel it.
That's because you've been planning.
Yeah, I'm not.
You look awesome, mate.
Thank you.
You look awesome.
No, he's better than awesome.
What you could do, Dan, is get somebody else to write the book about being a hairdresser and pass it off as your own, though.
What, get a ghostwriter in?
Could do.
Yeah, and take all the credit for it. That's a real good idea. I'll do that instead, actually.
Emil, how was your 200 kilo deadlift challenge today?
That was good. It was hard, though. Really, really hard. I was breathing at the end.
So what was the challenge? What was the original challenge? And and then tell us how it's evolved.
So the original challenge was, I think, Dan John on T Nation. It was 140 kilos, or actually 315 pounds, because they're American. 2 reps every minute, on the minute, for 30 minutes. I did a set to start with, so it's 62 reps in total. And then, started off with that, moved on to 160, which is 3.5 plates a side, onto 180, and then onto 200, and it took second attempt before I got it. But yeah, it was really good. It was good.
What do you mean a second attempt?
So the first time I got to 12 minutes, and then the technique was going. I hadn't backed myself, to be honest. It was after a night shift. I hadn't eaten. I'd done legs the day before. And I'd done deadlifts the day before that, and then the Friday, 3 days before that again. So it was probably a bit stupid. I am a training coach as well, obviously.
Terrible preparation for that, I think we can all say.
Yeah, so I got to 12 minutes and then did it every second minute after that. So I did 40 odd reps, 50 odd reps. And then today I sort of a bit fresher, a bit more carbs in me. And it was good. It was good fun. 5 plates next, 220.
I'll be lucky to get that for 1.
It's only half my body weight though, so it's fine.
Laura, how are you doing?
I'm very well, thank you.
What have you been up to today?
Just a bit of some client updates, bit of coffee, the usual.
And dressing the dog like a panda.
Oh, I did dress the dog like a panda today, yes. Yeah.
Yeah, I'm making memes out of the dog all day.
Yeah, my new hobby is creating memes out of the dog, as some people on my social media would have seen.
Productive. Anyway, so today's podcast, we thought it would be good to essentially have a bit of a review of where we're at now, because obviously last year all of us did a prep before Emil joined us when we were just 5, and now we're 6. So when we were just 5, for those new listeners who might not have gone back to previous episodes, which I would recommend you definitely do, because they're probably better than this one. Basically, we all prepped for the same competition on the same day. I had the lovely job of prepping everyone, and I was being prepped by another coach, Jeff, who we also got on the podcast. So that was our story last year. Mike, you entered in a men's physique category, didn't you?
I did.
Chris, the same, but different height class. Dan, men's physique, different height class.
Short asses.
Yep. And bikini?
That's next year when I've got a bit more mass.
Yeah. And Laura?
Yeah, I was in bikini against Dan.
She beat me.
And I did classic bodybuilding. So, yeah, that was our story, and it would be good to... we kind of all did that as a joint venture. We did photo shoots and all that stuff together, and it was a really, really good journey, and yeah, an incredible time, really. It was one of the best highlights of my year last year, sharing that stage with you guys in the house before and everything like that. It was good. So maybe one day we'll do it again together. Who knows?
Hopefully.
Who knows? But anyway, so this time it'd just be good to, that was back in September, so 6-7 months on now, kind of a bit of reflection on where we're all at now, where our heads have been at, because, and this is kind of like probably the conversations that people don't tell you about, because it's not very glamorous, and yeah, and just to find out what we've all been going through since. And now obviously we've got Emil joining the team who's now in prep, and he'll have all this to look forward to post-prep, and has probably gone through something similar because he's competed before and would have gone through these transitioning things. And then I've got a couple of listener questions, and then we've got a very, very important announcement to make. So I think we're probably best off, before we get into the nuts and bolts of the podcast of where we're at right now, what is our important announcement? Who wants to take it?
Probably you.
All right.
Yeah. Don't pass that on us. You do it.
Okay.
It's not Team Meek. It's not Team Meek or Team Harrison, is it?
Okay. So on the 1st of March, have I got this right? 1st of March.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Maybe we should do this announcement.
Have I been drinking again?
Well prepped.
So on the 1st of March, our doors are opening, and we will be taking on 5 clients each. So there are 30 spaces up for grabs, and this is just us kind of basically, welcoming everyone who's been listening to the podcast, reading our emails, following us on social media, and kind of interacting with us and followed our journey and that kind of stuff. And if you want to go on your own similar journey, now is the time, for us to kind of explain to you a little bit about how we coach, why we coach, who we coach, what we coach, and where we coach, I suppose. So what I'm going to do, guys, is I'm going to kind of go around each of you, and I'm going to ask you a few questions, and I want you to kind of be as honest as you can, just kind of give people exactly what they might want to hear. Some of the questions that we kind of get asked a lot when we have an inquiry call, because the thing is now, online coaching is becoming a little bit of a saturated market. Everyone seems to be doing online coaching, selling online nutrition plans, and I think it's probably a good idea for us to get across why we are different, or why we believe we're different, and some of the things that you can kind of gain from us, if you do choose to work with us. So, Dan, I'm going to start with you, because I think you're probably going to fall asleep at any moment. So let's get, hopefully, the best out of you now, and then you can go and have a snack.
Cheers, mate. It's cricket's tiring,
Yeah. So, Dan, what do you love most about coaching?
I think genuinely it's every time you have an update with a client and they just can't believe how much progress they've made in such a short space of time. I think that's something that I'll never get tired of ever. But it's more so that for me, when clients are struggling and you manage to make them see sense of the situation when they can't see it themselves, I think that's what I get my kicks out of. I had a female today, for example, who sent me an update video and was getting a bit stressed, and she felt a bit guilty almost for what she'd done or whatever. And I sent her quite a long update video, but I got an email back saying, "Thank you so much for your video. It really put things in perspective. This is where I'm getting value in what I'm doing. Like, I could never have got this from an email. Like, the way you said it meant more to me than the words in a way." So it's little things like that, that, yeah, you just kind of feel pretty good when you get messages like that on a weekly basis, which is real nice.
So what is an update? What does an update, what is that whole process? So you said, you do a weekly update. What is that?
Well, I think obviously with all us being slightly different, we do it in slightly different ways. Like, I don't really like my clients to email me updates. I much prefer video updates because I like to see the person. I like to hear their emotion, all that sort of stuff. But essentially, they provide a lot of data for us in their data log. So their nutrition for the week, their physical activity for the week, their daily weigh-ins. For females, certain things like, the time of the month is very important. So as much data as we can get on their life really is very, very important, whether they've been away for the weekend, where their refeed days have been in the week, and how that can affect all that data that we collect.
And how do we collect that data?
It's all on our Excel spreadsheet, like our nutrition log, which literally is the easiest thing to fill in for the client, and which took you weeks, if not months, to put together. But it's and again, it works at averages. It looks at trends, and again, it's that thing of, we don't make snap judgments on one daily weigh-in or 1 week or 1 day's food intake. It's all over the week. We look at the averages. We look at what's happened. There's usually a reason for it, and then we get a video update I get video updates. I prefer that to emails. And I just get them to explain their week and what's happened, how things have been going, why they made certain decisions, and talk them through their week and say, well, look, you've made a really good choice here, here, and here. And a lot of the time I always refer back to how much progress they've made in terms of their decision making, in terms of their flexibility, because a lot of clients sometimes stress if they skip a meal, or if one day they're not quite optimal with their food intake. They can stress about that, and it's nice at the end of the week to be able to go, no, look, you have made progress here, here, and here. And likewise, it's always good to have the log alongside their progress pictures and their measurements, because you can say, well, look, your weight's not changed in 2 weeks, but your pictures have changed. You don't need to obsess about the weight, and you can say, look, you've made progress here, here, and here. And yeah, I mean, there's so much data we take from pictures, measurements, like I said, the nutritional data, that it does take a bit of time for us to get through that and make sense of it. Along with the video update, I find is, for me, the best way to get a good idea of what they've gone through.
So you look at all their data, you watch their video or read their email, whatever, which ways a coach choose to work, and then how do you give them feedback back? By video?
Yeah, I do video updates back. Yeah, just because I'm quite comfortable in front of the camera, and I feel that I always like to make sure that the videos I give back, I don't really I don't have a speech prepared. I literally just have a couple of notes written down, and I just shoot from the hip, because I feel that as a coach, I can sometimes be maybe blunt, but at the same time, I think honesty is always the best policy, and I'll often never do a second take of a video. I'll often just send it as it is, because I think that that's what everyone needs in this industry, is you need honesty. There's too many people just bullshitting. And I think in an email, it's very easy to write an email, and you never really know how that email comes across in their tone of voice. And I think you can tell a lot from the tone of voice. So you can write an email to a client, say, I don't care that you've had a binge. And that can be read a totally different way to how I would say it. And I would literally say, look, it really doesn't matter. And I think and I work with females as well as males, especially when they want to lose body fat. That can be quite an important thing in an update, is how you put your point across. And I think that is a huge benefit of the video updates. And also, I think for all of us, it's our pretty much full-time job. So I'd argue that we're honing our craft, and it is our skill. This is what we do. We're not just adding this onto an existing business that we do. We're not adding it onto a personal training business. We live and breathe this day to day. So it's our job to be good at it.
Yeah, and that goes beyond just having knowledge in nutrition or knowledge in bodybuilding or training. It is having those kind of interpersonal skills, isn't it? In understanding, I would say a lot of my clients I've grown to be great friends with as well. And, it is really, really nice to be able to work with people I would call my friends. I joked the other day, if I ever threw a birthday party, there'd be probably more of my clients there than I actually have real friends. So, but I actually think that's pretty nice that you're able to build those relationships with them. And that's just so nice about kind of the clients that we work with and that kind of stuff in the personal service that we, aim to deliver really. So Dan, just quickly then before I move on, who do you work with? Give us a couple of examples.
I work with predominantly males and females who want to lose body fat. That tends to be my demographic. Tend to be people that do well being told what to do. And like I said, we don't mind taking a shot from the hip, basically, because I just think that's the best way to be. Honesty is always the best policy. I probably work with guys who looking to improve their sporting performance as well because of my background in professional football. And so I tend to be okay with that side of things. And also, I think trainers or people that want to improve their knowledge and they want to become more educated along the way, I feel that I get people who come to me tend to be like, I actually want to learn a little bit from you as well as learn about my own physique.
Nice. Cool. I'm going to go over to Emil now. So Emil, obviously, you joined us in December.
Yeah.
And this is going to put you on the spot, but why did you want to join us?
I've been doing nutrition coaching myself for a couple of years now, but sort of, I got to know you guys through doing the nutrition diploma with the ISSN. And, that is sort of one of the huge reasons, like, you guys are massively evidence-based, but more than that, because there's a huge evidence-based trend going on at the moment and everyone's evidence-based, whatever. But you guys practice what you preach. You get on stage, you get shredded. You have clients who get shredded and get on stage and do whatever they want. And you also do it in a really comprehensive, scientific, for not wanting to use that cliche, but really, really proper way. And when I did my own nutrition coaching, because I've been doing so many other things, I couldn't quite make it on my own as good as I wanted it to be. But I had a vision of how good I wanted it to be. And then I saw what you guys were doing. And I was like, yeah, that's pretty much my vision of how I would do it if it was, to be perfect. So, that's why I wanted to join up with you guys. And then when you sort of, had the initial chat with me, I was like, I've landed on my feet here.
Oh, mate, that's quality.
Oh, no, it was, absolute honour to be asked to get involved with this.
Yeah, and we've all been, so pleased you've joined, and come on board, and you've fitted in so well, from just me and you sort of having those training sessions together ages ago, and, a real friendship's blossomed, and, you've really fitted in so well, and, yourself, you add so many different, strengths to us as well, your background as a doctor and things, you're kind of like our go-to if we have a bit of a clinical problem with a client maybe, or something which is in that kind of grey area. And you really strengthen us there, and the stuff you put out on social media and the content's fantastic. So, Emil, who do you typically work with then?
Again, because I used to work on my own, I would work with anyone who sort of wanted my services as a nutritionist. But I think I've sort of fallen into a niche of my style of dieting is taking the flexibility to an extreme, so almost being inconsistently consistent. Yeah. Because of my lifestyle, because of what I do, I can't have a routine, I can't have a plan. I do night shifts, I do day shifts, I can be flying at a drop of a hat kind of thing. So I can't have any routine, and people who come to me often also don't have routines. They do night shifts, and they come to me because I've got first-hand experience in how to deal with it, the problems that come with it, taking but not compromising on results. I'm getting myself to stage in the next sort of couple of months, and my diet is invariably having to be
flexible.
Well, all over the place. I mean, I posted my graphs a couple of weeks ago, and they were all over the place, but the trend was there, and the trend was inconsistently consistent, or consistently inconsistent, whichever one it is. But making progress week on week and using all the data, and I mean that's a big thing about the spreadsheets that we use at Team Box, which Steve came up with. I mean, those things, you put in all your data, and they allow you to monitor, track, and then, you know, spit out like graphs and results, and you know, you can really keep an eye on what you're doing, both in the short term and the long term. And it's nice for clients as well to be able to see how they're progressing. I mean, there's nothing else in the industry like it. I've been in it for a couple of years. I've worked with loads of different people. I've seen loads of different styles. We don't send you a crumpled bit of A4 paper or a Word document with a Team Box logo in the corner. We have an epic spreadsheet, and it's epic, like next level epic. I love spreadsheets, and this is next level. So yeah, I mean, we'll be doing a video short showing a little sneak peek of how we actually run the show. But it's
for me, it was a case of I wanted to make sure that coaching was about what you do in between gym sessions. It was about what you do in between meals. It was about looking at the big picture and taking that and being able to draw, you know, some element of causation rather than just correlations. And I've had that, you know, conversation with two of my clients this week that, you know, one of them, she said to me, Steve, I went and ate out, and then the next day my weight jumped up by 0.7 of a kilo. I'm not going to eat out again because my weight just jumped up. And I was like, whoa, let's just not be hasty. Let's look at this from a lot of different angles, and let's kind of have a look at that. And it's like, there's that example, isn't there, of correlation, like in the summer, ice cream sales go up and so do murder rates. So some people would take that as, okay, so the more ice creams we sell, higher murder rates. Well, that's a correlation, not an actual causation. But it seems to be in the fitness industry that we might see something happen like, okay, this person's done fasted cardio and got shredded, so therefore it's the fasted cardio that got them shredded, and they're not looking at all the other angles that might actually do that. So by collecting this data, we're able to look at the variables, see where people's making progress, and kind of have a better understanding in just teaching our clients to make really, really good decisions, so they're accountable for the entire time, not just, you know, if you had, for example, a PT and you're just accountable for that one session you're with them, it goes way, way beyond that. Well, anyway, thanks for that, Emil. Mike.
Not a problem at all.
Why do you love coaching?
Yeah, it sounds a little bit cliche like Dan, but just I can't express the sort of happiness that it brings when you get some clients, you know, come back to you with great feedback, you know, whether that's on a weekly basis, whether something special's happened, whether it's been sort of great results, or whether it's come to the end of their term and they feel really, really confident that they're able to now sort of go into the big wide world on their own and look after themselves, and they know exactly what they're doing. So for me, I really, really do buzz off whenever I see anybody come back to me and I've sort of helped them in whatever way I can, and to make a positive change in their life with whatever direction they want to do, whichever direction they want to go. And it just means so much to me that I'm able to give that to somebody else. Whereas in the past, I've obviously come from a different background than a lot of you guys. I was in like a trade for years, and I just felt as though I was not making a real difference to anybody other than just going up and turning up and doing my job. And now that I know that what I do has a direct effect on somebody's life, day-to-day life, and you know, it just means so much to me that, you know, people would, you know, trust me and they're seeing good results.
Well, that's quality, mate. So who do you work with, Mike? Give us a quick snapshot of maybe some of them you might work with. Yeah,
so I think like everybody, I think we've all got sort of a bit of a myriad of people that we work with, but I think generally who tend to be attracted to me because of, you know, my personality or whatever, is sort of like-minded guys, roughly around my age-ish, you know, like who are wanting to, you know, build some muscle and get lean. You know, typically the guys who want to get leaner for like a holiday or perhaps a photo shoot. You know, that's typically what I get. You know, with some crossover to you know, a broad spectrum of people, really. But yeah.
Nice, Laura.
Yes.
Why do you love coaching?
For me, again, it's going to sound really cheesy, but it's not just the ability to make a physical transformation with someone, but when you hear feedback from a client saying that you've improve their quality of life somehow. So it might be, for example, I've had clients that were quite underweight and not, so I only work with females, and not having a monthly cycle. So to hear that they're now having a regular monthly cycle again, that their body is performing much better than it was, they might have a healthier relationship with food now. I've got a client who's diabetic, to hear from her that she's using less insulin, all of those things. On top of obviously seeing your clients get shredded, that's quite satisfying, but knowing that you're actually really making a difference, that's what I love about coaching.
Yeah, and it's one of those things that, we kind of, a lot of these kind of emails probably come into us on a regular basis, and we're probably not very good at sharing that, because it happens, it does happen on a regular basis, I would say, that you only have to kind of, in our family group, see the comments like, Mike, you really picked me up today in our call, thank you very much. Or Dan, thanks for setting me straight. Or Chris, I loved what you said in the Quiz the Coach this week, and it really, really helped me. And I had that with my Quiz the Coach that I did. A Quiz the Coach is essentially an hour, 45 minutes of time when we go into the Teambox family group on Facebook, we go live, we cover a topic very much like a podcast, but we make it very much special to those clients who can ask any questions in the week leading to that, and it could be on a topic like meal timing, for example. Mine was on training, and the posts going out on Facebook following that was really quite special, and to hear people gone back, rewatched it, and shared it with their friends and stuff was really quite touching. And I think a lot of that stuff we're not very particularly good at sharing, but they're just as important as seeing someone step on stage, or, do well in a photo shoot, or, have a body sort of transformation. But I had it with a client who came to the end of her coaching with me last year. She came to me for prep. She'd prepped before, did a very, very aggressive diet, and ended up with, a few eating problems, and her relationship wasn't great. She was kind of like in a bit of a binge starve cycle, and she said to me at the end, she goes, I know we didn't compete this year, but you helped me so much more than I could ever wished. She said that I've been able to help her, mend that cycle of binge starve, and she's now able to look at food in a much, much better way, and, essentially control her eating to get some consistency, not feel guilty about eating, perform well in the gym, and she's gone on now to do a personal trainer course, and that's been really, really nice to see her progression. So, Laura, I can really resonate with that. So, Laura, who do you tend to work with?
So I only work with females, but yeah, quite a wide spectrum of females, really. Anyone from goals kind of ranging to weight loss, and whether that's kind of like a specific prep for a photo shoot, or just generally to look better for a holiday, feel better day to day. I also work with females that are looking to bring a bit of structure to their training or build some muscle. And also females that are just looking to kind of practice weight maintenance even, and just focus on good nutrition and health as well.
Nice. And it's one of those things that I think sometimes we might get labelled as a prep company, that we only deal with prep or people who are bodybuilders, but that's really not the case. I work with all of our competition athletes because that's kind of my area of expertise. But as a company, we work with a whole range and spectrum of people from different ages, different backgrounds, all across the globe. And it is really a case of helping people if they just want to get a little bit leaner, whatever stage they're at, whether they're new to training, new to sort of looking at their food and nutritional intake, or whether it's working with personal trainers who want some accountability to grow their business, to perform better, or top level athletes who want to be the best at their game. So we're able to sort of cater for that. So Chris, finally, you.
So obviously
Chris, yeah. What makes Teambox different to maybe other coaching things that you've experienced in the past?
I think is that we're all so similar as coaches, and that was going to be, as you threw me off on a tangent there, I was expecting the same question, why I love coaching, but to kind of answer both questions simultaneously, is that we're all so like-minded, obviously, and that goes further than all being competed in, physique, bodybuilding, that kind of thing, but all very like-minded in that the way we operate with our clients, the way we practice what we preach, and actually practice what you preach. It's one thing saying it, it's another thing doing it. From the level of us, some of us actually having coaches ourselves. And I think the reason why, Teambox is very different is that I had a consult with a client a couple of weeks ago, and just talking about a coach they'd worked with in the past, and talking how they were very much left on their own, and the plan was very generic. And for me, it's hard to understand that, because what we give is so comprehensive. As what Emil touched on, is that we do look at everything. And coaching, in my eyes, it's not always about the nitty-gritties of the nutrition and the training, the perfect training program and the perfect macronutrient split. It's about that person at the other end of the phone, or the other end of the email, or the other end of the video update, who's going to actually relate to you and understand your situation. It's not just about, you've not implemented the plan, why haven't you done this? It's like, oh, this happened in my life. Okay, well, we can work around it. And just to bring in a kind of like a client testimonial, I've got a client who I work with at the moment who's a PT, and he just sent me a really nice message. He was away at the weekend on the stag do, and he's been doing really well with his progress. And I just gave him a bit of a plan to be as consistent as he could be while he was away. And he came back and he just said, he gave me a short comment. He said, Chris, I feel so great. I was able to be consistent, and I got straight back to being even more consistent when I got back, as opposed to when I'm on my own. Things might have spiraled out of control for a few days. So just something so small as to make a few recommendations for him to enjoy that and still strive towards his goals. So I think that's the way we're different, is that we're all as well as, one of the other things I enjoy working with Teambox is we're all, 5 of them are best mates as well. And it's very easy to operate as a team because we are very tight knit. And they always say a team is only as strong as its weakest member. There is no weak member in our team. Everyone offers a different spectrum. Everyone's come from a different background and complements each other really, really well. So yeah, that's why. And when you see the testimonials and the transformation that we put out on Facebook, which, just go out consistently, constantly, there's a different client there with a different story.
Yeah, they're just the tip of the iceberg, aren't they, really?
Yeah.
I think. And you're right, because we are a team of individuals that we've led our own lives, we have our own experiences, we have our own preferences. Often when you work with a client, and this is why if you do want to work with us, that I have the job of selecting the best coach for you. And essentially I do that because I want to make sure that client, you might have followed Laura or you might have followed Emil, but actually if I feel like that personality or your goal is going to be suited better with Chris or Dan, then I'm going to make that decision because I want the best for you as an individual, as a client, as an athlete. But then, Dan and Chris might, if they ever get stuck or something like that, or, I have in the past, I'll come to you guys, we workshop clients to say, I've had this problem with someone, can anyone throw some opinions on this situation, that we're able to problem solve that together, throw some different angles, and ultimately come up with a really good, solid plan. Whereas sometimes when I was a coach on my own, I didn't have anyone I could talk to about that kind of thing. I had no one mentoring me, no one pressing me and pushing me on to be better, apart from myself, which is great and it gets you so far. But now we've got something really, really solid. And I've heard some absolute horror stories recently where a coach has got 300 clients, and you're in a group of 300, and there's one coach, and you're all given the same plan, and it's kind of my way or the highway, and there's no individuality there. Everyone leads such different lives. I have a client at the moment in prep, and I have to speak to her on a weekly basis. So I do my updates. I speak to my clients bi-weekly, then we do a video or an email update in between, and every week that person will tell me what they're able to do. So if in terms of cardio, for example, so I can manipulate the diet week on week. So it's not just a progressive plan which goes, right, more cardio, more cardio, more cardio, or cut your oats out, cut your oats out, cut your oats out. It's not like that. It is a case of, okay, what are you able to do? Let's attack here. Let's, bring things back here if you've got like an event coming up that we have to cater for. And we're able to periodize that and plan around things. And that's, I think, the most important bit for me is having that kind of bespoke element to it. But anyway, If you do want to sign up with us, we take on 30 clients each as a maximum. So you're not just one of 300. And each coach is going to have 5 spaces to take on, and there will be first come, first serve. So our doors open on the 1st of March, and you need to head over to www.team-box.co.uk, and you can head to the apply page. And on our homepage, you'll see all of our packages and prices with drop-down boxes of exactly what's kind of contained in that to give you a very good idea. And then you can click claim your space. That will take you to the apply page, fill out that form, and we'll be in touch with you as soon as possible. You can have a chat with a coach and kind of ask any more questions. It's absolutely no obligation at all. We just want to get to know you a little bit more. And if you've got any general questions about what you should be doing, what are the next steps, then, Laura or Mike or somebody will be able to help you there. So anyway, that's that. Guys, that's been 35 minutes already. Can't believe it. Time flies.
Crazy.
So we're going to have to basically wrap this up in the next sort of 20 minutes because I don't want to go too much longer. So, Laura, I'm going to start with you.
Okay.
Where are you now? What are you doing? What have you been going through recently? Give us a bit of a synopsis of where you're at now.
Okay, so yeah, we all competed in September last year, and then I went straight into a recovery diet and an off-season. And I had the intention this year of starting a prep again. And I've got Dan coaching me at the moment, lucky Dan. Don't laugh, Dan.
I didn't say anything.
I forget that people can't see you on a podcast. Dan rolled his eyes. So yeah, we had the plan of me doing a long prep again, as I did last year. And we kind of got about 3 weeks in, and I actually pulled the plug on it. Well, asked Dan nicely.
Because I'm that bad of a coach. Is that what it is? I feel bad now.
No, so for me, it was very much as soon as I started to drop calories again, just a little bit, I started noticing signs that my body wasn't fully recovered still from dieting. I almost felt like I'd gone back to being a few weeks out from the show, just from having calories a bit lower, and I shouldn't have felt as not great as I felt. So that just, if a client had presented those signs to me, I would have said, you need to spend longer recovering and enjoying a bit more food and getting your training intensity up nice and high. So that is currently what I'm doing, and I'm sure there'll be a diet on the cards a bit later in the year. No doubt I want to be a bit leaner for summer, but for now I'm quite happy just focusing on enjoying my training and watching my lifts go up every week, and just being in that nice happy place where I get to enjoy a bit more food as well.
Nice. So that's where your motivation's at right now, is to get as strong as you can.
Yep.
And you're obviously training with me and Dan, so you've got absolutely no hope in achieving that at all.
I don't know. I think actually, ladies, if you want to get stronger in off season, train with guys, because loading up the bars in themselves is a workout. Because if you've got to take it all back up, there's the incentive to push your weights up, because otherwise you've got to take it all back off the bar again.
God, honestly.
Steve rolling his eyes because I moaned at him the other day about having to unload plates.
Dan, just explain to everyone what you explained.
Basically, it's a known rule in the gym that when you train with training partners, the person that lifts the heaviest weights doesn't have to take off plates or put them on, because you're ruining their session, essentially. So you have to be the one to catch up with them. So it's your job to take the plates on and off. And I thought this was like an unwritten rule in fitness. Like I've ever since I've trained with Steve, it's like, I'm always forever taking plates on and off. And then Laura just moaned the other day, and Steve just looked at her as if to say, what are you on about? And I was just like, it's an unwritten rule that, Steve's there training and he's got 3 plates on the bar. It's our problem. We have to take them off, not his. It was a bit of a funny little session in the gym, because Laura got a bit annoyed about that, and because Steve was quite forthright in how he said it, should we say?
Yes. I didn't realise that was an actual thing, though, and I'm still not convinced it is. So if anyone's listening to this, if you could comment and let me know if you've actually heard of this being a thing, then yeah.
Emil, what's your take on this?
I've not heard this as a thing.
It's not. I don't think anyone's ever vocalised it before. I think it's just. Have you never, like when when I used to train with you and Tom, I would always help take your weights off or Tom's weights off because you two are both stronger than me.
Yeah, but we all took the weights off. Like, I don't want to cause any disruption or any, breaking the rules or anything, but I've never noticed that. I think because I used to work in a gym, I'm just very aware of constantly tidying up after myself. So I'd automatically do it, but I might, why not?
I think the reason that I knew about it is because I've always been the weakest person whenever I've trained in a group. So it's just like, well, I've always done it. So
yeah, Emil,
I just assumed that.
Emil, you've probably never noticed because you, like me, have probably, been in that situation where until it gets brought to you, you realised, oh, actually, yeah, maybe people do. Chris, what are your thoughts?
I've never heard of it, but I normally train on my Todd. But I think you're stitching up Laura a bit, to be honest.
Oh well, right. Let's end this now.
That was the wrong answer, Chris.
It's common courtesy to just take weights off, even if they're nothing to do with you. And again, I've worked in the gym as well. Like Emil, I'm very conscious about tidying up as I go. But Chris, if someone's doing heavy, you don't just let them do them on their own.
Like Chris, if you've just done a max effort set and you want to sit down for a minute, you're going to sit down for a minute.
In your case, 25 minutes, isn't it?
Yeah, I like to take a bit of
the rest of the session.
But that's not my problem. I need to rest for a bit,
So I don't train with anybody because I haven't got any friends, but I'm going to start to employ this rule. And I'm just going to grab somebody who looks weaker than me to take my plates off for me. Does that count?
It's legit. It's a rule.
No, but this isn't. No. Hang on a second. Let me just get this right. This isn't putting your weights away. I'm more than happy to put my own weights away at the very end. Like if it's my last set, once I've had my rest, I'll take my plates off, put them on the rack, for example. This is like the in-between sets.
Oh right, yeah, you're bang on. You're right. Yeah, stop moaning, Laura.
No, it's like, for example, so Steve does his set. I help unload the thing on his set, and then we take some off for Dan's set, and then it comes to my set. So Steve's rested, he could do it back on. Then we've got to put some more weights back on for my set after Dan's set. So that's when Steve should help.
Your macros are being dropped.
What about a drop set? Can I get somebody in to do the drop set for me?
Yep.
Yeah, that's perfectly acceptable.
Just any random weaker member of the...
Yeah.
Well, if they could be stronger, and I think on a drop set, that's fine to get anyone over. Because you don't want to stop doing your reps, do you, on a drop set?
Oh, all the...
Well, exactly. So, Laura, you're wrong. We're all right.
I'm still not convinced. I feel like
Emil's just sitting on the fence, as usual.
Probably breaking it.
So, Mike, where are you at right now?
Oh, I'm in the kitchen.
Standard.
Yeah.
Have you left it since the show?
Just next to the fridge, arm's length away. So I'm not competing this year. I've competed 3 times in the last 2 years, as you all know, because it's all I bang on about. So it does sometimes take away a little bit away from you, and looking at the longer term goal is I do want to compete again, and I know that I want to make those improvements so that when I step on stage next time, I can see that there's a difference, and I don't feel that competing again this year would be the best way to achieve that. And I want to give myself and my family a little bit of a break from the rigors of what prep brings. So I'm currently in an off season.
I'm enjoying the break from having to coach you, Mike, as well, if I'm honest.
Excellent. Thanks for that.
The guy who needs a DEXA scan just to tell him he's lean enough to compete.
So any potential coaches, you've just put them off straight away. But I'm a treat to coach, as you all know. But yeah, so I recovery dieted. My plan was to do better than my previous 2 times. Where the first time I ballooned up, and then the second time I also ballooned up. And I feel that I've been somewhat successful in that, as we're sort of 6 months post show now, and I'm not full on cowhead just yet. So
yeah, Your body doesn't balloon up; it's just your head.
Yeah. My physique is I'd like to say shredded year round. Just my head gets bigger and bigger. No, but yeah. So I recovery dieted. My plan was to do a mini cut. I think in November. So end of November. So I plan to spend sort of 10 to 12 weeks recovering and a bit of an off season and a mini cut. But spoke to a few of you guys and I didn't need it, so I just carried on with an off season. I tidied up slightly after Christmas with a bit of a 4-week blast. And now I'm back to sort of gaining again, and I'll probably tidy up again towards the summer, and spend as much of the year in a surplus as I can, that I can get away with without being excessively fat, basically.
Got a new. I'm designing a new log at the moment. You lot will be pleased to know. It will tell you how much of the percentage of the year your clients or you would have spent dieting, off season, at maintenance, and all that kind of stuff. Oh, it's going to be good, and then I can put that into a 3-year plan for people.
Nice.
Yeah, that's what we're taking it. Excel gains.
That's what bonds us, a passion for spreadsheets.
Yeah. So, Chris, over to you, mate. Where are you at right now?
Yeah, so post show, I just kind of got back into trying to get my love back for training. I think I really found throughout the length of my prep tours the last 2-3 weeks, I just stopped enjoying training. And I know a lot of people find training hard, but I just really lost my mojo for it. So I kind of tried to get my mojo back for that. And it did take me a few weeks to kind of just stop obsessing about my physique, which comes with the territory. But I think I was probably more, I think a few people, my family kind of noticed a bit. But I came through that and all good. And then this year I just wanted to take the pressure off myself, giving myself too many goals. So I'm going to get stick for this from one individual. I know I'm waiting for it now. I'm looking to get back into a bit of competitive rugby this year, which I've not played for a couple of years. Come on, bring it. Let's hear it.
No, mate. I'm not saying anything.
No?
Nothing.
Just wait for Dan Meek to pipe up.
Well, I don't know anybody else that plays rugby, so.
No, not a decent standard anyway.
Not at the level you play at, mate.
No. So and obviously with that, I just wanted to focus on getting a bit bigger and stronger anyway, which is kind of, what you're going to achieve in an off season. I had to have a bit of a small surgery on a tiny, basic epigastric hernia, which is kind of in my abdomen, which I've had for a couple of years. It's caused me no stress. So I had to have about sort of 3 weeks off training post that, but I'm now 5 weeks post surgery. It's all gone well. And just get back into the gym, smashing training, building my intensity, getting a bit stronger. I've set myself a few kind of mini goals on what I want to achieve with that. And then, looking to get back to play a bit of competitive rugby next season, which kind of starts August, September. And then next year, I'd definitely like to do another sort of photo shoot of some point. But just get back in, just enjoy my training. I'm kind of at a good level where I feel I'm as strong as I have been to a degree. And with having the break as well, I feel over the next 3-4 months, I can really ramp things up and achieve some PBs and make some progress with body composition and just in a good place generally, really, with everything. Balancing my nutrition nicely, still being consistent. Obviously, it's easy when you've got a few more calories to play with, but feeling really good about everything generally.
Man, that's quality. That's really good. So I'm going to go now. So right now, I am finally. My last show was in November, was it? October, end of October. Yeah, end of October, where I did obviously the IFBB Diamond Cup, and I did a 9-month prep in total, and it literally took everything out of me. And I really, really struggled from after that show up until recently, if I'm honest, to actually have the motivation to go to the gym. It's been really hard, and there's been times where I haven't wanted to go. There's been times when I haven't cared, times where I just haven't been interested in it. And at first I sort of beat myself up over that, and I was quite worried. And then actually, the more I've spoke to, like long-term competitors, and I've realised that no, this is kind of normal for that to happen. And hopefully, in going through all that stress of the preps and stuff, in It has been difficult, but finally I'm kind of getting back to a really good place now with my training, and thanks to Laura and Dan for sticking with me, although sometimes I'm probably miserable and snappy in the gym and stuff, and obviously not putting my weights away in between sets and things, but yeah, generally I'm really, really kind of getting somewhere now, and I'm getting some consistency back. We're on to a good training program, and one thing I've really, really found is now people have stopped asking me when am I going to compete again, because that was kind of depressing me a little bit, because I thought, oh my god, I'm going to have to do all that again, and I know one day I will, and I know one day that I'm going to have to achieve more than I've ever achieved before, but that's fine, and right now I'm just focusing on getting as strong as I possibly can. I've set myself some KPIs that I want to hit, so they're for me key performance indicators, things that on my bench, my squat, my deadlift, my decline bench, which is one of the compound lifts I'm doing at the moment, which I haven't done in a long time. Areas where I want to be able to hit PRs or PBs for reps, maybe what I can do for 10, what I can do for 6, what I can do for 4, 3, 2, 1, for example, and that's really, really keeping me motivated. So every single week I go in and I attack one of those areas and I try and tick one of those off. And it's been phenomenal. It's been really, really good, and finally I'm starting to get some consistency back. And also for me as well, which might sound a little bit odd, is that I haven't actually tracked my macros in since November. I stopped tracking my food. I track my weight still because I think that's good just to gauge what I am doing. And my eating habits are okay. Like I do get a regular feeding of protein in, so that's fine. But it's been difficult to actually kind of let the reins go a little bit, and it's something I've been tracking my macros now for about nearly 6 years, and I just wanted to be able to practice intuitively eating so I'm able to help other people who have gone from high-level dieting out into a transition of normal eating, and it's kind of like goes beyond, we sort of take people on a journey of educating them into nutrition, but it's a little bit like the Matrix. So once you know, and you see calories, you see numbers, because you have that education, which is fantastic. But at a very, very high level and a high extreme, I think for me, it took me to experience that to then be able to help other people, build a better relationship with food, nutrition, and on the whole, and become a true flexible dieter in the true meaning of this, like kind of Emil you touched on earlier. So that's kind of where I'm at the moment. So not all sunshine and rainbows, but yeah, getting there now. Dan?
Oh God, this could take a while. I think at the end of the show, I wasn't exactly happy with what I'd achieved. Personally, not that I was ever going to win anything, but I just felt I had a lot more to give. I didn't feel like I'd had my time, so I decided to go again in the end of September, which was about 6 weeks away from that show. And unfortunately, I had to pull out of that one because I got whisked away on a work trip for 4 weeks. So I couldn't do that. So I had to kind of settle for a video shoot, and I was pretty happy with how that turned out and how it looked. But again, I was very disappointed. I kind of really felt like I had a lot left to do, and I just felt like the season hadn't really finished for me. So I was a bit gutted really at the end of last year. I wasn't particularly happy when I came back from my work trip, because I obviously, when I was there, didn't track, didn't need to. It was like I was reverse dieting, I thought, and it was a real hard thing mentally because I was on my own pretty much the whole time. Didn't have the support of family and friends. Gained like probably a decent rate, like 6 kilos in 4.5 weeks. So not too bad in terms of reverse diet, really. But it was very hard mentally. I found myself doing cardio, trying to offset overeating, all that sort of stuff. And when I came home, I was fine. And then obviously we got back into training, and I was like, right, I know I can't compete again next year because I'm just not big enough. I need to gain shitloads more muscle than I care to think about, actually. But so I know that I have to take this whole year off. And the reason that I've never gained that much muscle previously is because my training intensity has been off and I haven't eaten enough food. So I'm now literally force feeding myself every day because I find it very hard to push myself past that point of just being full and know how much I can eat a day. I have to really push myself to do that. And my training intensity now is on point because I'm chasing you, and you're very hard to catch. So it's quite nice to have that in the gym. I don't really have to set numbers because my goal is to do what you're doing on the bar, so that I don't have to take it off. In a way, you being motivated means I'm motivated because I don't have to worry about it. My intensity is on point, so I'm very, very, very lucky that I've got a year off season training with you and Laura because I'm being pushed every session, and it shows because we are literally screwed after 3 weeks of training. We need a deload, like we literally need one, and that's great because we're all pushing each other. So I'm hoping that come November time, I'll be ready to start kind of thinking about a prep. I've got a mini cut plan for like May time because of body power, obviously, so I need to be shredded. But yeah, like just along the way. So I've got some pretty lofty goals that I'm aiming to try and maybe get to sort of 88 kilos, bearing in mind I competed at 70. And I'm looking to compete at 70 again the year after. I'm trying my best to make sure that I put on some muscle because I failed thus far.
Mate, that's nice, and thanks for the kind words. And you are, bringing it every single session, and you do push me, so don't feel like it's a one-way street. Anyway, Emil, fill us in. Where you at? Obviously, you came on with the SUP podcast you did with me a couple of episodes back, and that was recorded just after Christmas, wasn't it? So, where are you now since then?
Well, I mean, I competed initially in 2015, and then since then I've pretty much been prepping constantly, although I didn't step on stage at all in 2016 because just incessant night shifts meant that I couldn't get into condition, basically. I mean, I got a six-pack, I did a load of shoots, but I couldn't get into stage shape, and I didn't realize it at the time. I just didn't manage to get into condition, but now in hindsight I realized trying to do 2 or 3 night shifts a week kind of makes it really, really difficult. But in any case, so I eventually stopped prepping and rebounded, I suppose, and got quite chunky, up to 126 kilos, something like that. And then so I started dieting from the end of August last year, been steadily, slowly, very flexibly dieting until end of December. And then at that point, prep started. And since then, I've been a bit more strict with it. And I've been on prep for, I think it's about 8 weeks now.
Yeah. We did a slight maneuver on your calories the other day, didn't we?
Yeah. So I've strictened everything up in the last couple of weeks after having a chat with Boxy. And I've got 11 weeks to the main event, which is body power, which I'm competing at. But I'm having some dirty ideas about competing in the run-up to it as well.
I'm looking forward to body power. It's going to be good.
Oh, it's going to be good. It's going to be good.
It's going to be good.
And I've got a load of shoots and things lined up as well in the meantime, just to get the maximal benefit of gains and shreds. But I mean, for me, prep has always been about the process as opposed to the end goal. So last year definitely wasn't wasted. I mean, as I said, I diet in the most flexible way possible because I have to, and that means I put the sort of the extremity of prep and I try and make it as flexible as possible. Until about 2 weeks ago, I was having a sort of a double share dessert every week, and it wasn't even a cheat day.
Just a regular day.
It was just a regular day.
Just
put it into my calories.
Yeah.
But yeah, so I like learning. I enjoy the process, and I hopefully this time I will get on stage.
Oh, you definitely will. Yeah, I'll make sure of it.
So
I have to drag you there.
Yeah. I'm not leading that.
Oh, you will be. Don't worry. But so we're going to wrap it up there. Listener questions I'm going to have to save for another time. So if you do have a question, please get them in and I'll sort of tag them in together. But guys, thank you so much for your time. We're running at an hour now, so we'll call it a day there. But like I said, if you would like to work with us, head over to www.team-box.co.uk and we'd love to hear from you. Just fill out that application form. That is already step number 1. Step number 2 is speaking to one of us, and then step number 3 is getting going. So it's literally that simple. It is truly a good investment, I think. In the feedback that we get is fantastic from our clients, and it's truly humbling to get that in. I've recently now found some software that actually tracks how many downloads we get of this podcast. Me and Mike used to joke that it was 1 or 2, and we thought that was just my mum, and even she said that I rambled on a bit. But we're up to about 4,000, which is pretty good, I think. So, guys, no pressure, but you've just been downloaded 4,000 times.
Uh-oh. Can we redo this?
Yeah. Yeah. But honestly, guys, thank you so much for your time. And, yeah, see you all soon.
Thanks, mate.
Cheers, Boxy. Nice one.
See you later.
See you later.